Hey y'all, welcome back to more Flesh and Bad. So today we have some more Manila Decklists. I'm going to be looking at Naib's, and for these last few couple videos, I'm going to try to speedrun, try to condense them into one game because unfortunately it's just taking a while to kind of record all of these, and I want to kind of prep for the San Diego Battle Harden that's coming up. I do have a lot of ideas that I've been getting from these lists, just trying them out. But we're going to try out his today, and we're just going to see how it works. So I'm going to briefly kind of go into some of his choices. So it looks like he is on the Time Skipper Spell Fray plan, which again I think is my preference. Although I know some people are trimming us on Time Skippers just because Prism's representation at super high levels is not, or at rather her representation is just low even at super high levels. Um, and then he's got some spicy like one ofs and two ofs in this list. Yellow Hundred Winds, obviously very spicy, very good with the Winds of Eternity. Cutting down to one Biting Breeze, which is understandable. One of Sift is also very interesting, as well as the one of Wind Chakra. So he's kind of doing something similar to Pudding here, where he's kind of diversifying his blues. We also see a one of Sync Blow and a one of Flick Flack, so lots of weird little ones ofs and twos ofs. And then Thou You Got and two Snag, which I think is quite solid. So basically running like two 4 block reacts, two snags, two Thou You Gots, which is pretty similar to I think what I'm doing. I think I might be on like 3 syncs, but anyways. Also cutting down Mauling keys, and then if we take a look at the combo keyword count, so he's sitting at roughly 32, which is very, very solid. Um, yeah, pretty hot, like pretty much on the high end of combo count, so more likely to hit with Harmony. And yeah, those are kind of the main things I look for. He's on 28 blues in the main deck. Again, I'm assuming this is roughly main deck. Again, some of these cards might be like Sync Below is probably not main deck, but I'm kind of just treating it as main deck because Snag isn't really main deck. But yeah, those are kind of the card choices here, and let's give it a spin. I do like this deck list a lot. This is actually probably the closest to what I've been kind of brewing for my Battle Harden list. So yeah, I'm liking this kind of like setup with the blues a lot, as well as kind of like I think the two of E-Strike is actually really solid too. I've been trying to run three E-Strike into new, and I don't actually think that's like even all that good. I don't know. Two E-Strikes maybe seems fine. It can like definitely like brick you pretty hard though. So let's go ahead and give it a spin though. Again, I'm just gonna do one game for these. So yeah, let me actually hold on. Let me log into Teleshar. Can't show you all my password. Don't want to get hacked. Okay, so let's grab his list and let's set it up. So let me show it again. Do we want to do a classic constructed prism? I think we're just gonna wing our own game. Let's just do a random opponent and see what happens. Again, I don't have sideboards for these lists, so I'm doing my best guess. Again, the deck authors would love to chime in. I would love to hear people's thoughts on how they sideboard. Again, I think it's always very interesting when people are cutting versus not cutting. I hope I didn't set this to private as well. Okay, we get a Riptide. I like going second into Riptide. Riptide's a hard matchup, especially if they're on that newer kind of fatigue version. What do we want to bring? I don't think bringing in a weakest link is all that bad. I don't like bringing Sync Blow and like reacts into Riptide just because a lot of them are on Dreadbore. So I think I'm just gonna run it with the weakest link and see how it goes. It might be right to bring in Sync though. Okay, looks like we got the aim counter Riptide, which again I've not been particularly impressed with yet. But who knows? I think it's still reasonable. I think what a lot of people this is put a arrow from your hand face up in your arsenal with an aim counter. So what I've been seeing a lot of people do is actually just use these sharpshooters to load on like turn one. I think that was more so in like the Sandscour or Azalea list versus Barb Castaway, because Barb Castaway I think you could just do it whenever you want, right? Because you put hand face up, and then while you have face up card in your arsenal, you have an additional yeah. So they basically get a 6-card hand next turn, which is very interesting. Looks like you don't have an arrow though. Oh, okay. So we're going to go ahead and levels here. Just doing our doing her thing. Get a resource, and then what do we want to get? Monkey's probably fine. Monkey's pretty okay. Then I think we will draw go because we were able to use all of our cards effectively in our hand. We find the Art of War, which is sick. So what's a little bit dangerous here is if they have an inertia trap, and we also saw that they didn't load, so that could be a little bit scary. Okay, it's a sink below though, so I'm a little bit happy about that. Let's go Karin now. Because if it is a inertia trap, they might just do it on the tiger. If they do it on the tiger, I would probably if they did the inertia trap on the tiger, I would probably just Art of War for value. I'm not sure if I would. There is like some merit to like keeping Art of War in the deck. I'm not sure. Okay, hopefully this is an inertia trap as well. This is the last window for inertia trap. And again, it's really hard for Zen to play around it a lot of the time. It's hard for me too, because like they don't have it, you're basically like giving up free damage a lot of the time. If they do have it, you're, I don't know, just getting bodied by the inertia token. Okay, so we will send the tiger because it represents an extra 1 damage on the mauling. It's a pretty good start from us though. Like turn 1 Transcendent Art of War is exactly where you want to be against Riptide. And again, these are going to be speed run kind of videos, mainly because, first of all, I'm making cookies downstairs. Second of all, it's Thursday that I'm recording this, so I am flying out on Friday. So I'm not going to have a lot of time to record in San Diego at the quality that I would want. So I want to just try to squeeze in a couple of recordings to just talk about the deck list at least before I fly out. Okay, it looks like they're giving us most of our hand here, though, which I can't be too upset about. All right, park in an arsenal. And again, we're pretty set up to kill them next turn. They have a CNC. His hand isn't like amazing. It's okay. Not like crazy about it. What happens if we just wait? Like, I mean, we'd have to block with problem is I don't think we can afford to wait. If one of these was a 3 block, then I think we could because we could block like bop bop and then send a CNC. But the way things are now, I think we just give all our armor. Yeah, it's fine. Like I don't like having E-Strike in my Art of War hand ideally. Like if I could create the perfect hand, it wouldn't involve E-Strike at all. But having CNC against Riptide is really solid as a finisher. Yeah. It's interesting. You almost do have to think of E-Strike like a finisher. There's someone who made that comment in the I think it might have been Dalton or someone who made that comment today. I think that's actually very smart to think about it that way because it's basically like the mode you most often want to use with E-Strike is to draw a card. And if you're doing that most of the time, that's at the end of the chain link. So like this card can be like a just source of go again, but like 95% of the time you want this to be a finisher. So it's actually kind of smart to think about it that way. It looks like we're gonna refresh the page. Okay, opponent might have left. Unfortunate. Okay, so let's go ahead and try to get a new game. Again, I'm trying to do these rapid fire style. My original plan was for that to be the game, but that was kind of a non-game, so we'll give it our best shot this next one. I want to get at least one good game in with these decks to kind of showcase their choices. Again, it's hard to like get recordings where like certain card choices matter, like Sift matters or like something else. But again, doing my best here. Let me make sure this. Yeah, this looks like the right deck list. Yeah, I like this. This is probably the deck list that I like the most out of the Manila. What was it? Calling deck list. I like the reacts over here. Like I like this 2-2-2 setup, and I like the blues. No Brighting Breeze is a little bit kind of, and I like Brighting Breeze a lot. It's a very solid card. The L100 wins is a little suspect, but I kind of understand it just to pump the wins ratios a little bit. Yeah, I think it's like pretty solid. 2 E-Strikes is also kind of interesting. Yeah, I kind of like that a little bit too. We're just not finding a game. Come on, is anyone here? Let's do a Zenmir. Okay, Zenmir. We want needles. We want to go second, which they are giving us. And then we want our That'll You Gots and our weakest links, and then we'll probably trim on. E-Strikes are bad. Maybe Mauling Keys are bad too. Don't mind that. Again, I'm not the author of these decks, so I don't know how to sideboard them. So if you know the authors of these decks, feel free to tell them to tell me how to sideboard. Okay, the turn 1 stick. I think, problem with this hand is we could theoretically get blown out by weakest link, but I guess it's not even that bad if we do. We lose our Transcend card is like the worst case scenario, but I think it's fine to just like, you want to keep up with their filtering, so if they're like filtering 1 card, you also want to filter 1 card. I'm also just going to let them know to refresh because I think it's stuttered there a little bit. Okay. I normally don't do that to be rude. I normally do that to just kind of like, because I know Talshar kind of shits the bed sometimes. Okay, so we have, what was the first chain? Tiger will come in for 2. For 1. Right, because no Shuko. We'll take 1. Because we do have a blue in hand for this, so it's like fine. Pouncing Key. Do we have a Tiger build on our hands? Or maybe it's just a, I don't know, budget deck list or something. Although budget with Ancestral Harmony, I think this card's still expensive, right? This card's like 10 bucks, 20 bucks. I'm out of touch. I bought mine like a while ago for Katsu. Alright, we're taking 6 here, but we have our Transcend, so it can't be that upset about it. And they don't have an arsenal here. Okay, this is a hand. What does this hand do? I think so. That you got that gets worse because they have Kakara. So, I don't know. What if we transcended, gained a resource, did chase or something? I don't know. What if we just needled and YOLO'd it? And then like flip. It seems kind of better. I'm gonna needle and YOLO. We'll pitch that out, I got, since they don't have needles, so it's a lot less impactful. Because we can double transcend. Do we double transcend? Single transcend. Double transcend. So we're basically spending a needle to turn our transcend. Oh wait, whoops. Okay. Uh, uh, uh. Sorry, it's late at night, so you have to bear with me for a second. Get our resource, then we'll pass. We'll let our needle break. Then we'll get our chase the tail. Could make a Zen state, but they haven't transcended yet, so it's like lower impact. Could honestly just sandbag this for next turn. I'm kind of fine with that. Okay, but they are giving strides on a 4-card hand. I'm not going to make a Zen state here because I think it's pretty likely that they don't have anything really going on over there. Like, there's nothing they can do on a 4-card hand with no transcend with a tiger. Like, the opponent might just be new, which is, again, totally fine. That's what Talishar is for. I'm not going to give up Needle either. Again, I think their next turn is going to be a little bit weak, so we're just going to skip Arsenal and then pass back. So actually, this hand's pretty okay. So like we can theoretically even make a Zen state if we like needed to kind of secure the deal. Yeah, I'm fine just taking this tiger. Pouncing Key was the card that we saw a lot of early on, and I've never liked this card. I think it's just too fair is the best way. Like, it's also just hard to like always have a tiger to use to turn it on to give it go again. I don't know. Never really been impressed with this card. I think it's just very below rate. Like, you have to have a tiger to actually make it on rate. Sure. What do I want to do here? I can theoretically make a chi, or I can. Okay, they're undoing. Okie dokie. All right, we'll take 4. And the Mullen key, sure. So we'll take the Mullen key, no extra damage. And then next turn, we're basically going to blow them up. So the question is whether or not we want to like actually make a Zen state. I don't think they've transcended yet, actually. So I guess there's not really a risk to like what are they gonna do? They only have access to a 4-card hand at this point. Should we get another spinning? That could be kind of fun. But we would lose out on Shuko value, but we gain it back off of that. So like it's basically 5 damage either way. It's just 5 damage with an on-hit versus... Yeah, sure, why not? So maybe also like consideration for like graveyard, like putting... But our graveyard's like pretty good already. We have to send in and 100 wins, so... I think the most like premium graveyard targets, this is kind of maybe an interesting thing to talk about, is I think Descendant's very important. I think Hunterwood's is quite important. Spinning is whatever. Aspect of Tiger Body is quite solid. Chase the Tail is sometimes very good, but not always. I'm trying to think what else is good. Also, just unplug my headphones. Yeah. And we'll give them the needle here. If they want to block, I think I'm fine with that. Because, like, we're pretty much going to kill them next turn. get the other chase the tail out of them. Sure. Sounds good. Okay, double Arbor, I guess we won. Pretty sweet. Oh, it's a Tiger deck. Very nice. So they have Tiger in hand. So they are almost certainly going to attack me with a Tiger next action, or else they're IPing themselves to the Tiger. So we are going to give Traverse and Strides to this guy. And that'll be that. Poor Tiger builds, am I right? They're just so inefficient. Like, this card is just so bad by itself, is I think the main issue. Like, Descendant Bond, or like, Bonds is at least a 2 for 4. This is a 0 for 1, you know, at its floor. Although I guess they're running Bonds and this. I think the Tiger builds have historically wanted to go away from Bonds, but I don't know how feasible that is. But we are just gonna pop off here. I'm not gonna think about it too hard. Yep, we can get Bonds. I'm just gonna go kind of quick here. Again, not much to say. I'm banishing the Tigers and getting the Bonds. We'll spam out a Harmony too. Why not? Get a Winds of Eternity because we're just the best. And then we'll do Descendant Bonds, kill, 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 stab, stab, stab. Yeah, they're off of it. So those are kind of some shitty games, but what do I think about this deck list? This is like the deck list I like the most coming out of Manila. I think this deck list is really solid. I think it might need to get cleaned up a little bit. Like, I obviously think that they have some kind of like rationale for like the 1-ofs and 2-ofs, but I think there maybe is a little bit of room for kind of consolidation. I'm not also like very crazy about Foot Clock. Like I'm a sync enjoyer as opposed to Foot Clock, but I know some people, you know, have mixed opinions on it. What else? I like the spicy 1 of Sift. I think more than 2 Sift is a little bit kind of crazy. The Bite Breeze is a little, I don't know. There's not a lot of like blue starters in this list, which is I think maybe the only kind of weak point. And then 100 Winds is pretty spicy. 2 E-Strikes is actually I kind of like a lot. 3 E-Strikes is a little clunky. And then cutting down the Mauling Keys is also interesting. But I really like the sideboard. Again, I'm not... I feel weird about the weakest link. I think it's very good in the mirror. But I think it's gotten a lot worse into new specifically, just because it's like hard to cast if they rip a blue out of your hand with like, I don't know, like hand disruption. So it's a lot harder to cast than like E-Strike is. But overall, I like this list a lot. This is probably the closest thing to what I'm playing in the calling, but you can kind of keep track of like how I'm changing my deck as I go if you have been following my deck list for a while. So yeah, anyways, hope you all enjoyed the video. This was Naib Mobassir's Manila 5th, and I hope you all enjoy.